Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube NFL video, I'm not going to talk about any predictions or previews, but what I want to talk about is the Tom Brady suspension nullification, and I want to talk about my thoughts and opinions on this matter. Many of you may have heard recently, I believe today, it was stated, I was looking on the news, and it stated that the Tom Brady suspension is nullified and he is going to start week one versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. That will be at home. Now, what do I think about this? Well, maybe a travesty to justice might be a little bit overstatement, but I really don't see how this was necessarily fair. What my honest prediction was, I thought that there was be maybe a compromise in the situation, and that perhaps there would have been maybe a two-game suspension. I thought maybe it would have landed in the middle, and I'm sure many other people may have felt the same way. Well, and from what my understanding is, the NFL is appealing this decision. Now, how much longer is this thing going to drag on? It's almost getting preposterous now. The NFL, I mean, hindsight is always 20/20. I understand that. Perhaps the NFL could have maybe levied initially a lighter sentence, maybe a lighter punishment, I should say, not sentence, but maybe 2 games, maybe Tom Brady would have acquiesced. That's something we'll never know, and I know we can speculate on this forever, and it is what it is right now. Do I think Tom Brady was involved somehow, or is he culpable to some degree? I do believe, honestly, he was, and he's getting out of this unscathed. I don't agree with this at all. For some reason, it was stated early on when this thing went over to a higher court that it looked like it was going to be auspicious for Tom Brady. And my feeling was is that they were going to look at this thing very thoroughly, very extensively, and look at all the nuances, analyze and examine all the details, and it would come down to 2 games. But apparently that's not what happened. And I mean, how much longer can they drag this thing out? Now, I heard that if the NFL, they are, my understanding, they have appealed or they are appealing, but it can be a very complex and complicated process. Well, and my feeling is they're probably going to follow through on it. The best that they will, I think they will do, regardless of how tedious or time consuming this may be. I mean, it's gone on this far, so nothing would surprise me at this point. There was something to the effect where the part of the reason I think that they had that the judge or whoever was adjudicating this, one of the reasons, my understanding, for Tom Brady getting out unscathed and not having any games missed, no suspension whatsoever, there was something about, I believe, either Goodell and or someone in the higher rankings in the NFL apparently had some kind of fallacious information that was out that was not rectified, and I guess pertinent to this matter, and it was never rectified, and that's part of the reason that they were rationalizing this decision. For me, I still don't quite understand why it went down the way it did. Now, I understand that this Deflategate scandal, whatever you want to call it, I'm sure every player on the New England Patriots was cognizant of it and knew about this. Now, one person basically had to go through these court proceedings because of it. Could it be perhaps maybe at least on a subconscious level? Maybe it was because you didn't have all the New England Patriots in court over this, that it was just one person. Maybe they were being merciful, the court system with Brady, because it was only one person and they didn't have the entire organization there. That's something I'll always wonder, and I wonder if that might have factored into this decision. Now, if the NFL follows through on this appeal, who knows how long that's going to take? Is it going to drag on throughout the season? Now, does Tom Brady maybe miss some games later on in the event that maybe the NFL emerges victorious in this matter? It just seems like this thing is dragged on for such a long time. I mean, this Deflategate scandal basically started, I believe, shortly after the AFC Championship game. That was in January of this year. And now I believe, I guess September is 8 months later. And we're still on this right now. I don't, maybe it's because of it's this thing about Tom Brady maybe being arguably the face of the NFL, maybe because he's such a prominent player. Maybe the court system just wants that they want to make sure that they're taking extra effort to make sure they're rendering that right decision is what happened. Maybe that's why this thing has taken so long. Maybe that was part of the reason it took so long. I understand the appeal itself is what prolonged this thing. That's what factored in protracting the decision. I mean, protracting this whole process. Brady was not going to acquiesce to 4 games. I still wonder if it had been 2, would he have agreed to it, or was this more about principle? Was this just the simple fact that he wanted to make his contention that he had no involvement? And even if they gave him 1 game suspension, I wonder if he still would have appealed this whole thing. But anyway, people, just another saga in the NFL. Well, anyway, people, this is Edwin Learnard, and until next time, stay well.